We do have some callers calling in already, by the way, on the Word in the Street. We are taking calls, getting your reactions on the episode. The TUF premiere. It was nuts. Um, man, I was actually blown away. I was impressed. Like, I was expecting to go into it with, like, a lot of bias because I'm obviously one of the biggest Chael Sonnen fans of all. Shout out to the People's Champion, Team Sonnen, Team Darkside, all the coaches. Um, but biased or not, this was some crazy ass shit. Definitely. Now, we do have a couple co-hosts here. I'll consider them co-hosts. We have Mr. Ninja Larson. How are you doing, Ninja?
I'm doing great, man. Great night.
And I believe we have one of the hosts of the MMA podcast on, Chris. How are you doing? Hmm. We might not have Chris right now. Maybe he'll call back. I don't know. He's he's probably dead. Or maybe I didn't add him correctly. I'm not exactly sure here. Um anyway, we're going to recap The Ultimate Fighter. Are you guys ready? Seriously. The Ultimate Fighter Season 17 premiered on FX tonight. The video production, it was crazy. It was outstanding, as Chael would say. It was like using different cameras, different frame rates. I noticed. And Ninja, do we have you back on?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, great. Hopefully, Chris will call back. I tried to add him on. Something funny is going down. It's the internet, guys. Like I said, this is basement level run podcast. It's the Wayne's World of MMA here. And I'm sorry for, just trying to get my shit together here. But, this is an impromptu, just reactionary podcast to the episode that we witnessed. Alright, it was 2 hours. But, actually, what I did was I saw that there was, you could actually watch the episode on Amazon.com. You could just download it, just stream it right there as soon as it started airing. And if you watched it that way, you watched it commercial free, and it was actually an hour and 21 minutes long. So that's why I actually tweeted out the spoiler a couple minutes ahead of time about who was actually picked for Team Sonnen. And we will go over each Team Sonnen fighter. I'll break them down real quick, break down their fights, who they are. Um, but Ninja, just right away, from a fellow Sonnen fan, what did you think of the Ultimate Fighter premiere?
I thought it was great. Like you were touching on there a little bit, the production value was just remarkable that season. I think this is going to blow everything out of the water. Yeah, it was outstanding. Just the quality of the show that we got to watch was just on a whole nother level, and I can't wait till next week.
No kidding, man. That's the thing. Like I definitely already rewatched the episode twice. I'm definitely in for it. I already was down for all the episodes, but I mean, even anybody that watched it casually, those are some very impressive fights. We saw very little decisions, knockouts, finishes, submissions. Um, the Team Sonnen fighters, that I think there were only 2 decisions on that team. Wow. They actually in the editing this season, it didn't seem like it was just like a rushed hack job like it usually seems. Like last couple seasons, man, you could tell people were just showing up in the editing booth there in the bay there, just putting in enough time for that paycheck and to get it out on time. They rushed this out one pretty quick, but it didn't look rushed. I mean, and then they also did a good job of featuring Sonnen and Ron Jones, like during the fights. Like, they weren't kidding us. They know it's a Chael Sonnen versus Ron Jones show. They know what we're tuning in to see. So they kept them going during the fights. Cutting away to shots of them just reacting, giving advice, bantering between each other. It was great. The fights themselves, awesome. But in the crowd, they actually had a crowd, which was awesome. for these fights. I hope they keep it up, but they probably don't. But in the crowd, just spotted Kim Coates from Sons of Anarchy. We saw Frank Mir in John Jones's corner. We kind of already saw pictures of him leaked out on Twitter and all that shit. But yeah, Frank Mir was there. No feature on him, no up close or whatever. And of course, I'm pretty sure I spotted the First Lady of Westland, Brittany. I'm pretty sure I saw her in the audience just watching the fights. That was cool. It was a good idea, like how they added the families and actual crowd, like with noise going on in the background of the fights. And they were keeping the commentary with Chael, Dana White, and Ron Jones. They were keeping that running. That was awesome. Usually what you see in a TUF Ultimate Fighter is just a silent fight. Like you can hear like their feet like bouncing on the mat, and maybe someone will shout something every now and then. You'll clearly hear the referee if he ever says anything. By the way, Steve Mazzagatti was reffing some of these fights, man. Did you notice? Did you think he did a good job, Ninja? What's up, man?
I thought it was great. There's some great reffing in there. I saw Herb Dean in there a few times, and there was that one
Herb
fight
Yamasaki.
I do not remember. Herb Yamasaki. Shout out to Herb Yamasaki out there.
Hell yeah.
He did great, and there was that one choke where the guy started punching him. I believe it was that triangle choke, that really deep triangle choke, where he started punching him in the ribs, and Dana White says, "Well, now he's punching him in the ribs," and he lets go of the guy, and the guy's just laying there, and Dana White goes, "Oh shit," And
yeah, it was,
so there's.
Who the fuck was that? It was was it Thor? Was it Trong? Or was it who the fuck was it? Well, we'll get to that. Hold on. We have a caller. Hopefully this works out here. If it did, we should have the MMA podcast host Chris on with us. Chris, are you there? Well, I see that he's in on the call, but I don't hear you, Chris. What's going on, Chris? Yeah, he keeps calling in and then it drops off. Maybe there's a connection problem here, there. I don't know. There's definitely a problem, Chris, but you want to sort some shit out, try again. We'd love to have you on, man. Chris, like I said, if you haven't checked out the MMA podcast, just go to the MMApodcast.com or follow at the MMA podcast. Great show by those guys, by the way. I'm often on. They have the honor of having me on. They put up with my Chael Sonnen fandom. They're good guys, actually, and they have on really great MMA guests. Anyway, back to TUF. The TUF premiere that kicked everyone's ass. Just to tell you, I'm looking at one of these nerd threads on Reddit, for example, here. Just getting the fan reaction here. Here are a couple of posts. Best premiere to date, easily. So much better when it isn't live. Lots of fire press me. Also glad that the wild card is back. Another one. This was surprisingly watchable. Seems like a much better production overall from last season, and the addition of having families and friends there, really helps to connect the audience with certain fighters. Much better than last season by far. I think we can all say that. I think this first season premiere episode easily blasted away all of season 16. Easily. What other comments we got? I think Uriah Hall will win it. He's a Team Sonnen fighter. That's a pretty good call. It's actually my pick as well, but we'll get down to breaking the Team Sonnen fighters shortly here. Another one, let's see, where's the illegal download? Don't they normally show this show twice? Where's the rerun on FX? That's true. Let's see, another one. Damn, the new directing style for this season of TUF is exactly what this show needed. It's now a documentary piece showing the real sacrifice and suffering that it takes to be at that level. Some of those shots that they captured really were worth 1,000 words. I'm impressed to say the least. P.S. They finally took the emphasis away from the clowns and douchebags who ruined this sport. Not exactly sure what that meant. Was that a dig on past coaches or what? Anyway, Ninja, so far you've only seen one episode, but have you ever watched The Ultimate Fighter before other seasons? Do you think it's already blowing away other seasons?
Oh yeah, I think it's definitely blown away other seasons. I had watched them off and on. If there was good coaches, and I remember watching Tough One because it was so new and such a different show. And I watched a few in there. Noguera and Mir. For some reason, I really got into that one. And I liked them all. I liked the live season that had its ups and its downs, but this one was weird. Like that comment you had, where this is more like a documentary so far. This first episode was like a documentary instead of a reality show, and I think that was great to grab. Certain people grab a different demographic that's just flipping through channels, and yeah, the way they presented it this time, if you're a fan of just people punching each other, it was a little different because you didn't really see, like a full fight. It was a lot of clips of fights, and it was a lot of in and outs, differently angled, differently shot. But if you were a fan of the Ultimate Fighter and the people, and you're in this for the long run, it's going to be a great season.
Word. The Ninja has the word on the street about this season, I gotta say so far. Did I mention I was blown away? And I've seen it twice already. On Amazon.com, did I mention you can download that right now if you don't have a TV or FX? I don't know what the hell you're even. If you're a Chael Sonnen fan and you heard that he was going to be coaching the Ultimate Fighter and you didn't run out and buy a TV and then subscribe to a cable company and make sure you had FX and HD, are you really a Chael Sonnen fan? I got to question you right now, and I got to call you out. That's what we do here on the Word in the Street. Follow the goddamn leader's example here. Now, we do have to. We talked about the positives so far, and we of course will, because there was so much. But were there any complaints that you had about the Ultimate Fighter premiere? Was something missing, something lacking? Were you disappointed at all by anything? Ninja, I have a couple of disappointments here. How about you?
Yeah, like I said, a couple. Not seeing full fights. They kept cutting away. I thought they could do a little bit more to that. Maybe cut down. Those fights where they just show that stupid Nos highlight thing just drove me insane.
Like the slow motion thing?
The little Nos, like, they'll come in, they'll touch gloves, somebody will throw a punch, and then they'll say, this video or this fight highlight was brought to you by Nos, and then it would just be Sonnen or Jones breaking down the fight, and you wouldn't really see much of it. And it was like, as soon as you saw that, it was kind of like, they're not even going to show this, which is great, I guess.
Yeah, it was a total of what, 14 fights that they had to cram into 2 hours. Actually, an hour and 21 minutes. There were 40 minutes of commercials, so they showed 14 fights in an hour and 20 minutes. So yeah, they did have to cut a lot out. I mean, I'm sure they cut out like rounds, like complete rounds almost, I bet. But I thought, I agree that the product placement on the slow-mos was kind of ridiculous and blatant. But the actual camera that they were using, that almost looked, I know it wasn't, but it almost looked like that Phantom camera that they used at the UFC that one time. The fucking Phantom slow motion camera, just the highest fucking frame rate captures. Blah. My tongue is tied, sorry, I've been smoking marijuana, people. Straight out of Austin, Texas. Word on the Street podcast. How dare you. Chris, how you doing from the MMA podcast? Did you get your shit together, son?
I guess I did. Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell you're on some, we'll get better as we go. Yeah, we can hear you, though. Chris, dude, Now that you're on, Chris, the host from the MMA podcast, thank you for calling in, joining. What was your did you even see the premiere of The Ultimate Fighter? And if so, what was your reaction, man? What's crack-a-lackin'?
I certainly did not watch it. I was a fucking idiot and didn't set alarm. I had a couple
You son of a
couple
bitch.
friends over. I'm sorry. I had a couple friends over at 7 o'clock. Rolled around, Pacific Standard Time. I was like, oh shit! I just missed the fucking premiere. I apologize to the Sonnen Army as well as Word on the Street podcast owner Ramses. My mistake.
Whoops, sorry, I was on mute here. I understand, man. It happens. That wasn't a cold silence.
So what was it good?
I gotta say, man, I was blown away. The fights, not just because I'm a Sonnen fan, and I was like, oh man, it's Chael Sonnen on TV. Oh, this is great, man. My life has changed. No, the actual fighting was like, it was UFC caliber, dude. Like, you didn't see none of this pussy ass TUF 16 shit. This wasn't last season shit where the fighters all making deals not to hurt each other, not to finish each other. Why would I come in here and get injured? I believe Mike Ritchie said that at some point during the fucking season. So yeah, they're fucking making deals last season. None of that, man. These guys weren't friends, dude. Holy shit! It was explosive fighting. Like these guys were all going for it. You could tell. You could tell in the fight. And I'm not talking in the little docudrama parts that they showed before the fights. You could tell they were going all the way. And holy shit, man. Like I said, there were very little decision, man. Very little point fighting going on there. These guys were looking to finish each other from round one. You should watch it, dude, as soon as possible. I'm sure there's already streams online.
I have it downloaded. Man. I have it downloaded legally. I just wanted to ask you, was everything like super technical? Because I myself, I don't care if it goes to a decision. There's been plenty of fights that go the distance that are barn burners. I mean, Cerrone, Benson Henderson won. You got Shogun versus Henderson. Just absolute wars where they're battered and bloodied and bruised, and it hits every single aspect of mixed martial arts. I'm not a fan of it going to a decision unless they actually perform up to like a war standard. So, I mean, did they live up to that? That's my question.
Every single finish, which was nearly every single fight, was not like a rock'em sock'em lucky hit. It was all like a skill-based finish. It was impressive. Like I said, it was UFC caliber shit, man. It was nuts. Like, you'll be impressed when you see this shit. Even though they're not showing the full fights, you're gonna be blown away, dude. Like, as soon as you're ready to watch that download, you fucking hang up on the Word on the Street. That's how much I want people to see the premiere of The Ultimate Fighter that just went down. It was fucking impressive, outstanding, ridiculous, over the top, groundbreaking as far as The Ultimate Fighter goes. It's gonna go a long way, and they're gonna re-air the premiere of The Ultimate Fighter. If the Word on the Street is correct, they're gonna re-air it on the big main Fox network this Saturday at night, all 2 hours, and that's fucking huge. The big free Fox network. So oh man, and yeah, it's a good package to put out there. No wonder Fox chose to air it. They probably saw it a few weeks ago, and that's when they made the call. They're gonna fucking show that shit too. That's how fucking good it was. But we were bringing up Ninja complaints, and you were complaining about the ads during the slow motion. That was pretty blatant. My complaints here, oh man, there was just some people were missing here. And by that I mean, in the season premiere, I understand there was a crunch for time, but they didn't actually intro the Team Sonnen coaches. What the fuck was up with that? No Team Sonnen coach intros in the premiere episode. Where the fuck was Coach Jamie the Living Legend Huey, Scott McQuarrie? Clayton Hires, El Hombre de Guerra, Vinny Magalhaes, Mike the Diet Dolce. Where were the intros? Didn't see him. Of course, it's coming. But yeah, I was disappointed that the actual premiere couldn't just fit in a couple minutes there, just to give us a quick little round view of who's on. You know, just because I am a fan, huge fan. Shout out to Team Darkside. Uh, I understand UFC. You gotta show Chael and Ron Jones, and you gotta show fights. You only got an hour and 20 minutes to show 14 fights or whatever it was. Okay, fine, I'll give you that one. But if you don't introduce us to Team Sun in the next episode, I'm gonna have to start breaking some legs. All right. I'm gonna have to start busting out some thug jitsu. I'm gonna have to start uh, booking airfare, traveling to cities, whooping ass. I'll find you guys. And also, so yeah, where the fuck was Team Sun in? But more importantly, guys, and if you'll bear with the 10 seconds of 10 seconds of silence while I play the theme music, where the fuck was Danger Waffles?
The Danger Waffles Report, the Danger Waffles Report, the Danger Waffles Report,
Danger Waffles, ladies and gentlemen. Where the hell was the dog? Chael Sonnen's dog on the premiere of The Ultimate Fighter. He was nowhere to be found. He was like Bigfoot. I'm sure he'll be on eventually. I mean, he's the brains behind the whole fucking operation. But there was no Danger Waffles featured in this premiere episode. I was disappointed by that. So I was disappointed that we didn't get the intro to Team Sonnen or the intro to Danger Waffles or any. They didn't, you know, he is the Team Sonnen Team Darkside mascot. All right. Maybe he was off at the tables for those first couple fights, you know, just gambling away Chael's money. I don't know. Ninja, did you have any more complaints or anything that you felt was missing from the premiere?
Well, of course, you know, we'd love to see Danger Waffles. I had heard the word on the street is that they were really undecided if they were going to call this the Danger Waffles show. I mean, that's what they were going to call the season of TUF. They thought about scrapping the whole number, the whole thing, and that's what they were going to do. So, I mean, how could you not have Danger Waffles there? I know he was watching the fights. He had to have been. He was perched on his little throne, you know, looked up at the fights, had a nice, juicy, big old steak bone. He was there. He had to be there.
I hear you, man. Now, Chris, I'm sorry that we're, you know, kind of spoiling some things for you here, but you made the mistake of sleeping through the premiere of one of the greatest shows ever put on television by man.
Yeah, that I did. You guys aren't ruining it, honestly, to be quite honest. I am listening, but I'm listening kind of half-heartedly. You know, even if you guys ruin it for me, it's still going to be enough to where I go back and watch it. It's kind of like, if I had an analogy for this, my mom actually told me the entire plot for the film Titanic when I was about, 12, 11 years old. And I heard the entire thing, and I went and I watched the movie, and I still enjoyed it. You know, like any good film out there, you can hear the entire plot, but until you see it for yourself, you're not going to enjoy it the same way that you would watching it live.
Your mother must have connections, man. She had the spoilers on Titanic, some James Cameron shit. That's dope, man. That's fucked up.
My mom is James Cameron.
She knew what happened to that fucking thing. The Titanic.
Shut up,
exactly.
That's Cameron. Chris's mom.
I gotta watch that movie. Didn't it come out in 388 or something?
Dude, that came out in 1998. It's a really fucking stupid movie, to be honest, looking back on it. But the fact remains, you can ruin a movie for someone, but it doesn't matter. Until you see it for yourself, you can still enjoy it just as much with spoilers. I don't care if you guys spoil it for me. I'm still going to go back and watch it. Word on the street. Ramsey. Ninja.
Hell yeah, Chris. That's what I'm talking about, son. Yeah, you watch that, because, like, you won't believe the fights, man. Just the fights. You're a fight fan. You won't believe this shit, dude. Oh, Chris, glad you did actually call in, because, on On an unrelated note to the Ultimate Fighter, while I have you on, what was your take on Vitor's victory over Bisping and his rambling speech afterwards, where he had some words to say about Ron Jones and the People's Champion? What was your take on that?
Well, I'll tell you what, he had a fantastic victory. Anytime Michael Bisping looks like a retard on ice skates, I enjoy that. He put the stamp down on Michael Bisping, a guy that I forever will loathe for his actions on The Ultimate Fighter as a coach. Seeing Dan Henderson put him away and then do the dolphin dive punch to the mouth is one of my favorite moments ever.
The H-bomb.
Exactly. It's so to see Vitor Belfort do something, I think, which took more skill, a head kick with some punches, that looked amazing. I thought he looked great. That being said, I think I'm really annoyed with Vitor for the fact that he not only called out Chael Sonnen, which he has no business doing, he called out the champion, which he has no business doing. I don't think he would beat Chael. I don't think he would beat Jon Jones, and he had to shout out his Savior, Jesus Christ. It's horrible, man. That guy, he's kind of like the Nick Diaz factor. I enjoy him inside the cage when he's fighting, and then as soon as he opens his mouth, it's just horrible. So that's where I see it. He has no business calling any of those guys out, and he should stick to head kicking Michael Bisping.
Oh, I just want to thank the people of Brazil. Thank you, Jesus Christ, for giving me the power to do this. And I want to say to UFC and Danny White and Lorenzo, get that Chael Sonnen. I don't even know what the fuck his name is. Chael Sonnen, get that clown out. Get that clown out. I want to fight Jon Jones. Chael Sonnen, you did the reality show. Now go home. Move to Metro. Make like a tree. Chael Sonnen, get that clown out of here. You're done. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was my
go home.
Belfort.
Pay rent. Kick rocks. Pay rent. Kick rock.
Oh, and he was so fucking juiced, man. Have you seen the video where after the fight with Bisping, Vitor is fucking still sparring and like just hitting the fucking pads?
Yeah, I have. You know my take, bro. The round table. Shout out MMA Roundtable. I don't give a shit what they put in their body. I don't think it makes you better. If you work out really hard and you put yourself out there and you take a plethora of drugs, it still comes down to your warrior spirit and intelligence and how you train. And I don't think that taking steroids makes you a better fighter. I think it could give you an edge for sure, but I don't give a shit. So if Vitor wants to juice to his gills, like I think he's been doing it since he started out as a heavyweight in the UFC at 230 pounds. More power to him. It hasn't done him well against Anderson Silva. He got front kick to the face. It didn't do him any good against Jon Jones. He got completely dominated from bell to bell. Who cares if he's juiced up? I think that it goes a long way to say that you should actually have a strong mind, a strong work ethic, and belief in yourself over taking drugs.
Yeah, I honestly think I don't care that the juice was loose, but it was so obvious and ridiculous with Vitor. Like he's still working out after the fucking fight, son. God.
He's sharing needles with Overeem and Wanderlei. Wanderlei's like, "Here, try this. This use for Komodo dragon."
His Vitor Armstrong's piss. Vitor Armstrong's piss was on fire. It was boiling hot. He's pissing hot.
And then
If he doesn't,
you know what? I like to train hard, and I like to do kickboxing. K1 rule. I kicked Brock Lesnar so hard, his mother thanked me.
That's a good one, dude. That is an excellent one, dude. It's like so pompous when he's talking. Oh my god. You gotta love Overeem though, man. It's a good guy. Shout out to that.
That I do.
Fucking horse motherfucker.
That fucking Urukai Lord of the Rings looking bitch.
Hell yeah, man. Now, Ninja, hopefully you're still there. What was your take on Vitor and his post-fight rambling speech, and I guess his win over Bisping, and the juice, man? What's your Vitor take?
anytime you get a win over somebody like Michael Bisping's caliber, that's a good day for you. Juice or not, somebody had tweeted that it's not really hard to tell who's juicing or not if you just look at somebody. So I think that's going to come out. That's not some big, huge, UFC gate, and it's a big deal. It very well could be as soon as those results come back. Man, I love Michael Bisping. I'm a Michael Bisping fan, and unfortunately, he did the same thing he did against Hendo. Just kept moving to that left side, ducked right into it, and that was it. And then Vitor, that's a good knockout. Let's give that to him. Bisping was one win away from a title shot. He was right there. He had everything to fight for. Vitor showed up, especially after a loss like he had against John Jones. He showed up to fight.
Ron Jones. Ron Jones. Sorry, I hate to correct you, Ninja.
Can you tell us the story behind Ron Jones? I don't understand that joke.
That's his name. What are you talking about? Ronnie Bones Jones. Yeah, sorry, man. You must see a lot of people. You maybe think his name is like what, John?
Yeah, John.
Yep.
I guess.
Well, that's too simple of a name. Like nobody would be stupid enough to name their kid John Jones. That's the most unoriginal name of all time. No, actual name is Ron Jones. That's the word.
Birth certificate or Obama. Thank you.
Exactly. Now, Ninja, continue. He called out the people's champion, Vitor did. Honestly, man, what did you think of that?
Now, so you get an impressive victory. You prove that you've still got something left. You still got something people want to see. And then you go out and you do something as ridiculous as call out the people's champion or call out Ron Jones and try to or whatever he was trying to bypass him. Did anybody tell Vitor that he just lost to Ron Jones? Can we get an interpreter for that for Vitor?
Yeah.
Wanderlei Silva is the interpreter.
Wanderlei, you lost it to the champion, Jean.
I want to hear Wanderlei Silva's impression of Vitor's victory speech, if you got that.
Thank you to Jesus. Thank you to family. Thank you UFC, Lorenzo, Dana White, and you stupid clown. What? I don't even remember his name. Sonny, fuck you, John. I eat your baby.
Oh, holy shit, Wanderlei Silva with the Vitor post-fight victory speech. Hell to the yeah, man. Shit, man. I actually, at first I thought he was calling out Sonnen too, just like I guess most people did. But, he backstepped and, well, I guess what he was doing was saying, Chael, step aside so he can take a shot at John Jones. Even Sonnen was confused by that, apparently. I mean, but when you insult Chael Sonnen, you're calling him out, man. Like, you can't just insult the people's champion and then say you're not willing to fight him or you weren't looking to fight him. Like, you're not willing. What? No. You speak his name, he'll slap you in the fucking face. That's a quote. Well, I might be, changing a couple words, adding some swears in there. If you insult the people's champion, you're calling him out. In my book, that's the way I view it. Hopefully, he'll get to beat the shit out of Vitor Armstrong soon. Retire his ass.
Basically, what happened with that is, from taking all the steroids and all this crap, word on the street is Vitor Armstrong's testicles had actually, shrunk and transcended or or rose into his stomach cavity there. And what had happened after the fight is one of them kind of got to the edge there and didn't know if it wanted to come back down.
Yeah.
And come back down as he's saying stuff about Chael. Maybe he wants to be a man, and then just calls him a clown, and the testicle goes back up into his stomach, and he says, "I just want to fight Jones." So he thought about being a man there for a minute, and those testicles wanted to drop again, but they didn't.
That's right. And even though Vitor didn't actually literally call out the People's Champion during that rambling I have a Jesus speech, even though he didn't actually call out Chael, the next day he tweeted some shit, didn't he? He said, he tweeted Chael, he said, I'll be happy to introduce you to Satan or something like that. And that's calling him out too, in my book. That's the word on the street. Vitor Armstrong, he's a dead man. He dug his own fucking grave. What is he doing calling out people that'll fucking destroy him? Even Ron Jones could whoop his ass. Even Ron Jones. Ron Jones did whoop his ass one-handed. Literally. Got his fucking arm broken. Elbow fucking broken. Beat the hell out of Vitor with the other hand. Alright, that's how much Vitor Armstrong sucks. Where was his Jesus in that fight? And shout out to Bisbing. I mean, quit getting caught, man. Who knows? Yeah. Okay, now, we are moving back to the Ultimate Fighter premiere. Because I do want to just, on the Word on the Street podcast, excuse me, just having a little smoke and beer here. That's how we do it, man. But on the Word on the Street podcast, turning up my mic here, sorry about that. We are Team Sonnen, there's no secret about that. Team Darkside all the way. Hell yeah. I'll try to get some interviews, as many as possible, on the Word on the Street podcast. But I do want to intro the Team Sonnen fighters since it's been revealed in the premiere tonight. Are you guys ready? I am going to talk about them. Not sure if it's the order that their fights went down in. Like I said, I've just seen the episode twice so far. And it aired a couple hours ago. I've only been able to watch it twice. So I only took like brief little notes here. If anything's inaccurate, I'm sorry. But like I said, I am smoking marijuana. This is the Word on the Street podcast. We're sponsored only by marijuana. I'm not doing this for money or to be famous. Notice I never put my fucking face out there on videos or anything. This is the Word on the Street. I'm the voice of the Word on the Street. And let's intro our Team Sonnen fighters here. Now, Zach Cummings is a Team Sonnen fighter. Zach Cummings. A wife and 2 dogs was the only thing he used to describe himself. That's all that made it to the final cut. He said, I have a wife and 2 dogs. So obviously this guy's pretty pissed off. Now his fight was awesome. He had a fucking flash knockout on some sort of off-duty cop or security guard. His name was Nick or something, whatever. I don't know. The fight was pretty fucking short. It lasted about as long as the Ryan Jimmo fight when he debuted. Knocked a guy out in about 7 seconds or something. Zach Cummings, he had a flash knockout. Possibly an Ultimate Fighter knockout record as far as quickest. It was fucking great. Ninja, do you know the guy I'm talking about? He just straight up one punch knocked out the fucker.
Yeah, that was insane, man. That was like I've never seen somebody throw a combination off of a glove touch. I mean, that was like what do we even call the glove touch in the gym? It's like a 10, 10-3, and he just crossed, and that was it. And it wasn't even a bad glove touch too. It wasn't like, hey, surprise, got ya. Glove touch, and kaboom. And that was the end of the fight.
Let's not make any mistake.
As far as that
not a dirty move. No dirty move.
As far as that goes, I really hope, and it's kind of a double-sided coin when you get a flash knockout like that. Is this guy really, 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 really good and deserve? I think he was actually Sonnen's number one pick, the number one pick of the whole thing, if I'm right.
Luke Barnett.
Luke was.
Barnett.
That's right.
Yeah, Luke was, I believe.
But that kind of, I mean, it's tossing a coin on this guy. I mean, he obviously got a knockout, great knockout, and he's part of the team. But it's tough because we didn't get to see what this guy brings to the table. Really, he just threw a punch, it landed well, and that was the end of it. So I'm really curious to see, what this guy does. I mean, and that might be a good thing as far as competition-wise, is nobody knows, everybody knows that, get away from this guy's hands, but, this guy could be a jiu-jitsu guy and nobody knows it yet, so that might be good.
I have a pretty damn good feeling that Zach Cummings' knockout punch was not a lucky strike. Alright, he was like, I'm gonna punch this guy in the face. He caught him, man. He caught him with a knockout counter. A knockout counter. That's skill, honestly. That's skill. You saw Eve Edwards do that to Jeremy Stevens. Excellent. That's like veteran shit. So yeah, Zach Cummings. Excellent fight. Flash knockout. Fucking record on TUF probably. Gotta make it official. Right now that's the word on the street. Now our second fighter, Team Sonnen fighter, Kevin Casey. What he said, he basically just, said he was from a single-parent family, he loves his family and this and that, it was, well, basically in the fight, Kevin Casey actually told you who he was. Alright, he owned that fucking guy. What was his name even? That's how good Kevin Casey was. Alright, he took a small cut, he was bleeding a little bit, yeah, great to see some blood on the Ultimate Fighter, but was Kevin Casey fazed by it? Hell no. He ended up choking out his fucking opponent. It was domination the entire fucking time. I have a good feeling about Kevin Casey, actually. I'm so glad that he was actually picked for Team Sonnen. I'm so glad. Good call on that one. Whichever one on the Team Sonnen coaching staff made that call or vouched for him. Good call on Kevin Casey. Any thoughts on that, Ninja? And Chris, I'm sorry, I don't even know if Chris is still there even. Chris, are you even there anymore? Or did he not want to get spoiled by the TUF shit? We might have lost Chris. Now, Ninja, any thoughts on Kevin Casey? In case you're, we've only seen the episode once or whatever. He was the big black dude. One of the big black dudes. What was your take on Kevin Casey, dude? He choked out his opponent. Awesome.
Kevin Casey, he showed exactly what Team Darkside's about. He showed what Chael Sonnen is about, what Chael Sonnen's look for. He embodied what Chael Sonnen looks for in his fighters, and that was just a grind them out. I'm going to do everything I can to win. And Chael actually said that a few times during the show. That's what he was going for. That's what he liked. As far as the fighter himself, I have a cheat sheet of fighters that I would have picked if I was Chael Sonnen. I'm sitting there writing guys' names down. He did not make it to my list. He wasn't one of my top guys. One of my, we got to pick this guy. However, I am really glad that we had got him on Team Darkside.
Word, man. I think he's gonna be around for a few episodes. Making a statement. Next guy up, the next featured Team Sonnen fighter that we were introduced to tonight. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Tor Trong. Nickname is Thor. Now he said he was a mathematics engineer from Sweden. What the fuck is a mathematics engineer? I have no idea. I was always sick that day, skipping that class left and right. That teacher luckily A few of them were hot. I did what I had to do to pass the class. You know what I'm saying? High school days, man. And then college, of course. If you're clever, you can get around ever taking a math class besides the fucking one basic. But anyway, we're not talking about me. We are talking about Tor Trong, a mathematics engineer from Sweden. He says he went up against Scott Rosa. I'll actually say the opponent's name this time. Good fucking fight, man. Like Chael even said himself that Thor was an unassuming guy in his comments after the fight, that he was not overly impressive, but completely dominant. And if I remember correctly, Thor, he did win via rear naked choke. I've actually heard good things about this guy. He's rumored to be a decent fighter, or at least he's really popular where he's from, and maybe that's where the word is leaking from. Ninja, any take on Tor Trong?
Thor.
I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name.
It's actually Thor. I don't know how it is Thor. It says Thor. I don't know how. I guess it's part of their language or something like that. It's Thor. I think Chael made that and actually called him Thor and got corrected. So I do believe it is Thor. Word on the street. This guy was actually good. This guy is ranked. I believe it is ranked number 1 in Sweden. I think he's Sweden's top guy, which is good. I was really, really high on this guy. I thought he had a lot to bring to the table, and I was really afraid that this was going to be a guy that Jones kind of saw what Chael was doing, kind of saw, Chael was leading him on as to who he liked, trying to bait Jones into picking guys, and I really thought Jones was going to pick up Thor, and I'm really glad that he wasn't able to steal him, and Chael made that pick when he did.
Yeah, no kidding. Team Sonnen, Chael came away with I've got to say, with the better fighters as far as the initial picks go. That much was obvious. Who knows how much of it was just clever editing. You never know with these fucking guys in the editing bay. Actually, they seem pretty decent. Like I said, man, shout out to this premiere. Wow, it did look like a prime time. That was the word on the street, and yeah, it did look like a prime time UFC 24/7 type of shit episode. It wasn't shit, but you know what I'm saying. I swear a lot on the word in the street, guys. I did actually want to mention a Team Jones fighter fighting under the tutelage, if you can call it that, of Coach Ron Jones. He was featured tonight. He won his fight, of course, made his way into the house. Josh Salmon, I believe it's Salmon. He was the guy who, it was pretty good domination. He was controlling his opponent, but he was the guy that ended up, he was ground and pounding. He was like, "Are you ready?" And he started landing some double-fisted Donkey Kong, King Kong shit. He was yelling with every hit. It was actually pretty preposterous at some point. Josh Salmon, dude, those fucking, what do you even call that hit? He was double fisting, punching him with both hands like he was trying to break open a coconut. What do you call that, man? What was your take on that guy's fight?
Well, I think double fisting is actually something else, and we don't need to go there.
It's Team Jones, man. Yeah, they do that to each other, man.
I guess.
Locker room bonus word on the street.
The double fisting bonus. There you go. Yeah, Dana Wright was kind of ridiculous, but on the same thing, it probably had to hurt. This guy looks like he's a little bit more show. I was actually pretty high on this guy. I did like him. I kind of liked that flashiness, that mentality that he had. I knew right off the bat that Chael did not want to pick him up. I'm sure he would have if it got down to the later picks and he was still available. But as you can tell, Chael baited Jones right into that.
Yes, he did.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, he did.
Shout out Chael Sonnen. He is the ultimate chess player. I know we're not biased on this podcast at all, and I am not
Not at
a
all.
biased fan by any means. But God, he's such a chess player is Chael Sonnen. He baited Jones into almost every pick that he did. Jones think he's getting the upper hand. He thinks he knows what Chael's thinking, and absolutely does not.
Oh yeah, he went 101 on fucking Ronnie Bones Jones on that one. He totally faked interest in this Josh Salmon guy, just to deceive Ron Jones, man. And it worked like a charm. Might be slick editing or not, but that seems like exactly how it went down. You know what I'm saying? And I will give the People's Champion credit for that move. Pretty damn fucking slick, like a gangster. Straight gangster on that one. The American gangster, you might say. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that Josh Salmon fight, whatever the fuck his name is, not going to work here anymore on Team Ronnie Jones. After this, you'll never hear the name Josh Salmon on this podcast again. All right, he's on Team Jones. I know you got picked, and it's not exactly your fault, but you're dead to us. You're dead to us.
You're the enemy.
Word on the street.
You're on the other side of the line.
You're damn right, Ninja Larson, my co-host, man. Now the next Team Sonnen fighter. Another one with the last name, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize to these fighters. I just, quote, met you tonight on TV. Alright, millions of people did. Kelvin Gastelum? Whatever, he's gonna be Kelvin. Alright, Team Sonnen Kelvin. He's a fucking 21-year-old bail bondsman. And he fought a dude named Andrews. The fight was, it went to a fucking decision. Sorry about the cursing. I'm trying to stop, cut back. But it was a war. There was a lot of back and forth from what we saw. But it was like one of those, like, entertaining decisions, you know? I'm sure they cut out maybe a lot of stalling and this and that. Again, shout out to the editing team. But it was an exciting decision based on what we were shown. Any impressions on this guy, Ninja? Kelvin, they didn't really tell us much about him. His fight was a little short there, but do you even remember watching this one?
Yes, I do. This was the youngest guy that they've ever had on
right.
TUF. I again didn't have this guy on my list. He was in that maybe pile for me. But it's a great pickup, again, for Team Darkside. I think this kid has something to prove, and that's the X factor for me on this kid, is that, being the youngest, this kid walks in to this show with something to prove. I really hope we don't see this kid. I don't see anybody from Team Darkside being that, Judy Browning jackass that everybody just completely despises on the show, that I despise and can't watch. I don't mean to be biased or anything against younger people, 21-year-olds or anything like that. I really hope that this kid isn't one of those trying to be flashy, trying to be noticed, jackasses in the house. I don't think Team Darkside or Chael Sonnen would put up with that. Hopefully we get to see some of that, because I don't think, I don't think Chael Sonnen's going to put up with somebody trying to get noticed by pranks and, leave that to the immature, Ron Jones guys. I'm sure he's going to have those guys doing that stuff. But anyway, back to Kelvin. I really hope he goes a long way, and he's got a lot to prove, and I think that's really going to help him in his fights.
Hell yeah, man. If a Team Sonnen fighter tries to misbehave, I guarantee you Uncle Chael's just going to pick him up by his UFC shorts and toss him out the fucking window of that TUF house. Alright, no hesitation. You don't fuck with Chael Team Sonnen. Not when you're under that banner. Hell no. The only person that gets arrested and fucking accused of shit is Chael. Alright? Now, but yeah, Kelvin, dude. Badass. Welcome to Team Sonnen, Team Darkside, man. Awesome victory. Another great victory. A very impressive victory to me. and well, shit, a lot of people. It was Jimmy Quinlan, Jimmy. All right, Jimmy from Team Sonnen. He fought Mike Persons, whatever. You know, don't matter anymore. And actually, Jimmy, he scored. His fucking wrestling was crazy. It was nice. Even fucking Ron Jones said he had the best wrestling out there. All right, and Ron Jones doesn't. He barely recognizes a damn thing except his own reflection in the mirror. But even he recognized that Jimmy's wrestling was fucking top shelf, alright? And Jimmy, he fucking he scored those takedowns, and then he fucking finished. He finished that Mikey Pearson's with fucking grounded pound. I believe it was fucking stoppage or something. Maybe even, I don't even remember. Was it a verbal tap? It was definitely some solid fucking hits connecting at the end that won it for Jimmy, but it was his wrestling overall that allowed him to fucking own Mike. It was fucking awesome. Glad he's on fucking Team Sonnen. What's your take? Anything on Jimmy Quinlan?
Yeah, Jimmy was the top on my list. Jimmy, I actually tweeted out when I during the show, I had actually tweeted out, God, I hope Team Darkside gets Jimmy. He was my top guy. He is my top guy going in to win it all. He's my pick. He was, like I said, first on my list.
Break it down. Why is he number one on your list? What do you got? What's the word on the street?
His skills looked phenomenal in there. He had that little. Shale kind of touched on it. I think this is the guy that Shale liked his. Look at his hip posture. Look at the way he bridging his hips during some of his ground and pound and stuff. And this guy's got wrestling that I think is going to shut people down in this tournament. This guy is going to be one of those guys that you know what he's going to do. You know where he's going to take the fight. And, I mean, obviously his wrestling was better than the other guys. Obviously everybody's impressed with his wrestling. And now he's got undoubtedly the best wrestler in the business, Shale P. Sonnen, to help his game on the ground. And he's got MMA stand-up coach Clayton Hires. Shout out to Clayton Hires to teach him striking and boxing. So he is only going to improve on what he's already good at. Mark my words, this guy is going to go far in this competition, and I will be utterly shocked if he is not. There was some talk, there's some word on the street about the animal. I don't know if that's what the beast, or what everybody's referring to him on the Twitter and all the underground stuff.
The Beast of TUF. Yes, the rumored beast that Dana White spoke of.
There's a guy that just, takes people out, apparently, and that everybody is afraid of. And the whole time I was trying to figure out who it was. And Jimmy was one of the names that I could see being this monster of a beast. That's how impressed I was with his wrestling.
Definitely, man. It was domination, obviously. Good job on Jimmy. I do have my best guess on who the Beast of TUF is. Say that 3 times fast. But I'll get to that after this next Team Sonnen fighter, who was Chael's first pick, which I found to be curious. I couldn't understand exactly why he went with this guy. I mean, no disrespect. It was fucking awesome. It was another case of just some guy coming in there and just doing whatever he wanted to his opponent, just in control the entire time of the fight. Luke Barnett. He was the first pick for Team Sonnen, if I remember correctly in my stoned head. He did a great job, alright? He was fighting fucking some dude named Co-Ring or something. He was a Caesar Gracie guy. But fucking Luke, he's a... God damn, that's a fucking skyscraper type, tall ass motherfucking Brit. He was fucking he was taking the other guy was like swinging, man, swinging for the fucking fences against him. But like the larger man, like there was no, it wasn't even a real fight almost. Like it went to a decision. It was one of the few decisions on the premiere, but it was clear. It was a fucking like decisive, clear-cut decision. You knew Luke Barnett was fucking just winning that fight the entire time, no doubt about it. I'm curious though, why do you think Ninja that Chael picked him first? I mean, that was a little odd because like I had a couple other picks lined up before him, as I'm sure you did. So why do you think Luke actually, what was it about him? What's your best guess?
That kind of surprised me as well. I definitely had him on my list. He was about third or fourth, if I recall. I should have brought the paper in here with me. Yeah, I think Chael Sonnen, the reasoning behind him is I think Chael has a game plan for this guy. I think Chael sees something. Coach Jamie Huey, Clayton Hires, Scott McCoy, I think they all see something in this guy that in Luke that they're really going to build off of. He's got that incredible lanky reach that that just dominated in his fight. That really took over. I saw a lot of holes in this guy during his fight. He was matched up against a really good opponent, if I do recall. A really tough fight. There were some holes. There were some things I didn't like about this guy that I'm sure they will patch up. And no disrespect to Luke. I think he's gonna do good. And I think Chael Sonnen saw something in him that warrior mentality, that spirit, and I think they saw a lot in him that they're gonna build off of.
Word on the street from the Ninja, man. Yeah, another good pick in my opinion. He seemed really on top of his game, technical. I can't even
having. Mm-hmm. And having such a great stand-up coach like Clayton Hires, I followed Clayton for a while and his work and what he does with people, and I can imagine that what they saw in him was his boxing. I think this guy is going to be a straight boxer. He's going to use those kicks. He's going to use those long arms. And Clayton Hires is working with this guy nonstop, during the season. And I know, and I'm almost positive, word on the street, and that's the thought process that I have behind that, is that they're going to turn this guy into an elite boxer. He's going to use that reach. He's going to keep you at bay, and he's just going to pick you apart. Someone like Stefan Struve does, with that incredible height, with that incredible reach. And I would not be surprised if the number one pick goes all the way.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, that's a pretty good guess about maybe his fucking stand up, maybe his boxing is fucking just on par with the frame of his body. When that lines up, man, that's definitely a guy that, fucking 7 out of 10 fights, there's not going to be a question about it if he puts it all together. So maybe they did that. Hopefully Luke puts it all together with the help of Team Sonnen, man, Team Darkside. Now, last fighter, Team Sonnen fighter. In my opinion, I did save the best for last because in my best estimate, stoned mind, putting it all together, looking at the evidence presented, I think that the rumored beast of the Ultimate Fighter, the beast of TUF, I have to say, I think it's Uriah Hall. Uriah fucking Hall. Straight out of Jamaica, fighting out of Queens, Queens, New York. That's hardcore in and of itself. Uriah Hall, man. It was fucking damaging. Just everything he threw, man. Just pinpoint, precise with power. Like the kind of power that, you see that power in his throw. Like with Anderson, he's got power somehow, magically, but you don't see it in the throw. But with Uriah Hall, you see those strikes, man. He advertises those strikes, lets you know that they hurt. That's how he throws it, man. It was... What can I say about this fucking guy that hasn't already been... like, he was the equivalent of the atomic bomb dropping on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, alright? He was the end of World War II as far as this premiere is concerned. Uriah Hall, man. I think he's the beast. The rumored beast of TUF that's putting people in ambulances, causing them to have nervous breakdowns, call their mama, fake an injury, make up more excuses than Rampage. I think it's Uriah Hall in my opinion. I'm not even, like I said, with the whole TUF thing, it's really hard. I'm not trying to spoil anybody. I'm just giving you my opinion based on the first episode premiere. I'm not saying I've heard the word on the street that he's going to go far and be impressive this season. I'm saying based on this premiere, I think, like, if I were in the TUF competition, my knee's blowing out, I'm waiting for my fight with Eddie Sanchez to work out in Juarez, Mexico, whatever. But if I were to have competed in the Ultimate Fighter Season 17, Uriah Hall is the last person that I would have wanted to fucking fight based on the premiere and seeing the first round of fighting, the elimination to the house. He would be the last fucking person that I would want to fight. For that reason alone, he's the scariest guy in my mind. I mean, what was it? He was even talking about when he was a little kid, they took him to see his shrink. And then his shrink was like something like, "You got no confidence." And then he was like, "Alright, I got no confidence." So then he took his ass to the karate gym next door. That was his fucking story. It was impressive. What the fuck? Oh man, it went to a decision. But there was so much going on in that fight. Like, it didn't even matter that it went to a decision. You were just pissed off that there weren't more rounds. It was fucked up. It was by far my favorite fight of the Ultimate Fighter premiere. Ninja, what's your take on Uriah Hall? What'd you think of the fight, even though it went to a decision? This guy was throwing oh man, he was even pulling out the triangle out of nowhere. What was your take, dude?
Yeah, this guy was definitely second on my top picks. If not, he was a really close, and he was really pushing that top pick, that first pick for Team Sonnen in my mind. Yeah, he was throwing straight fireballs out there, and the pictures of him throwing those punches and just the grit on his face, the look on his face was indeed scary, and I could definitely see where you're coming at, thinking that he's the beast. Man, this guy was throwing, they use that cliche is everybody's going for the home run. This guy was throwing, I was like, this guy's gonna, might get clipped when I was watching it first. Cause man, this guy was just throwing everything he had into every single one of his punches. And typically when you see that, from my experience, it's great for getting countered. You see that, you see the look on their face, they're swinging with all they have. You just get out of the way and counter, and inevitably, if you're good enough, you end up catching somebody with that. But this guy did not stop throwing with all he had. And the only reason why I think this went the distance is that one of those shots didn't land, and that was the only two ways about that. Again, this guy's going to be a force to reckon with. He's going to go very far. If he does not win it all, you will see Uriah in the UFC. I have no doubt about that, unless he gets absolutely demolished, which would be, again, a big shocker. It definitely Team Darkside material, just with the heart and determination that he showed, just throwing straight fireballs in that ring, and people got to watch out. When you throw Clayton Ayers and Jamie Huey and all those guys in there, and they hone in his boxing skills and kind of teach him how to throw some of those fireballs, and they'll connect. and get through the guards, and he'll be able to cut some ring off and go right after you. And you watch, he's going to land with one of those at one point this season, and it is going to obliterate the guy. So I think he's a good, great choice.
Yep, I don't see Uriah Hall making a fucking mistake anytime soon, or often, in the fucking octagon. I will give his opponent, even though I don't have enough decency to remember his name, I will give his opponent credit for fucking going the distance with him, taking the fucking punishment and the damage that he did, and best acting job ever, acting like he wasn't totally fucked up. You know he went to the fucking hospital after that shit. Poor guy. Shout out, I guess. But Uriah Hall destroyed him. It was almost like Uriah was putting on a fucking showcase. Like, he was like, alright, I can knock this guy out, finish it right now. Why don't I just show off some more technique and skills, keep it going. But no, his opponent was tough, man. Yep.
And that's kind of what we all kind of forget about in this opening episode, the season premiere, is that not only do you have to win, but you have to look good enough in there to get picked high, get picked good, and for people to notice you. That's half the war right there. Is all the other fighters are watching you. Everybody in the house, everybody that you are going to fight, the guy that you are could be fighting if you get there, the guy that you could be fighting in 5 weeks on the season finale of TUF is watching you right now, and that very well could be that he was just showcasing what he can do in there, and showcasing that he's a well-rounded guy, and he's a force to be reckoned with.
And I have no problem with that, and don't blame him, man. If you got the other guy beat, you can beat his ass at any point. Hell yeah, show off a little bit, but don't, that is a chance. But with Uriah Hall, I don't think it was that big of a risk he was taking on this guy. But damn, he made a fucking statement, even going to a decision, which is fucking rare. It's rare that you're like, holy shit, that decision fight. You don't even remember it was a fucking decision. You just know that Uriah Hall won. Whoop some ass. So shout out to that fucking guy. He is my pick right now, if I had to call it, to win the entire tournament, to win the Ultimate Fighter Season 17. My official pick is Uriah Hall. Word on the street. I'm calling it right now. Just right now if I had to. Oh, and yeah, you can go to theultimatefighter.com, and you can actually play the Ultimate Fighter fantasy game for this season. I've never done any of this fantasy online shit, but I'm actually signed up. I'm about to make my picks here in a couple minutes. We're about to sign out right now, by the way. But yeah, go to theultimatefighter.com, sign up for the fantasy game, see me rise to the top. I think my name is, I think it's just word on the street. You'll see me at the top of the fucking brackets. I'm not even going to cheat. I don't have to do that. I've got the power of the people, the word on the street. And damn it, this was a post-TUF 17 premiere fight breakdown, show breakdown, right here on the Word on the Street podcast. I just want to thank my co-host Ninja for just joining me and giving his opinions as always. Ninja, do you want to just let the people know how they can find you on Twitter real quick?
You can follow me at the Real Last Outlaw. That's at Real REAL Last LAST Outlaw. If you can't find me, follow the Aunt Jimmy Show. We follow each other on there, so you can find me that way.
Hell yeah. And yeah, if you want to know when the next Word on the Street podcast goes live, or, well, what you got to do, people, on Twitter, follow me. I hate saying it, but follow me. The Twitter name is The Aunt Jimmy Show. The Aunt Jimmy Show. At The Aunt Jimmy Show. Just follow me on Twitter. I'm always tweeting out the latest UFC rumors and news. Just interesting shit. Shit that I get high and love. I'm an MMA fan. This is the Wayne's World equivalent of an MMA podcast show. I would be doing this shit on cable access TV right now if it came down to it, if it was back in the day. But no, thank you all for tuning into the Word on the Street podcast. Shout out to Team Sonnen. Alright? Coach Jamie, the living legend Huey. Clayton, El Hombre de Guerra. Hires. Clayton Hires. Scott McQuarrie. Vinny Magalhaes. Mike the Diet Dolce. And of course, the People's Champion, the American Gangster, the Warrior from West Lynn, Chael Sonnen. Shout out to everybody. Great show. Great premiere. Hopefully I'll have a fucking Tough Tuesday podcast going forward, just breaking every episode down. Great to meet all the new fighters. Follow them all on Twitter. Just check out my Twitter, and I'll let you know exactly how to get hooked up with the tough fighters. We broke them down. It was a great episode. I'm probably gonna watch it again to tell you the truth right now. But thanks for tuning in. Shout out to everybody out there. Sorry to James Toney. He was supposed to be our guest, but we bumped him again. And Ninja, thank you so much for being a co-host. Just to say bye and take us out of here, and I'll go to the intro music, and we're out, dude.
Word on the street. Team Darkside.